Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. Today we're going to continue talking about Lindsay Gibson's Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. We've been talking about her chapter 7 and it's part 2 of the book, Nurturing Your Relationship with Yourself. Please do like and subscribe if you get a chance. It really does help us little YouTubers. And check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take my free life balance questionnaire and submit it in. You can also just fill out a contact form and I'll be in touch. The first consult is always free and there's no obligation thereafter. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to talk about your inner self. What exactly is your inner self? How you benefit from inner self guidance. And then we'll wrap up today with an exercise. So this is all in Dr. Gibson's chapter 7 of her book, Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents. Hope you guys picked up your own copy. If not, it's an excellent investment in yourself. I do recommend that you pick up a copy of both this one and her previous works. As I've said in previous videos, even though Dr. Gibson has written to me and I was super excited about that, I'm not compensated by her in any way. This is just my love for her work and how useful it is in everyday life, working with clients, feedback from you guys on your comments. It really is something that is life-changing. So I hope it's helping you. Okay. Your inner world determines your most significant beliefs and decisions in life, who you think you are, what you believe in, and the future you desire. An example of this is education. It's an example of an inner world pursuit that is highly valued. Your desire to educate and better yourself arises from your inside world, as do curiosity, ambition, and the ability to self-reflect. Your inner world is where all your energy, humor, enthusiasm, and altruism come from. Your ability to be fair and loyal to others comes from inside, as does any interest in coaching, leading, or mentoring. The desire to love others and the better world and to better the world comes from the inside. The meaning of your life can only be found from within. Your inner world gives you resilience and the ability to work through hard times to eventual success. Common sense, compassion, and gratitude are inner gifts, as are adaptability and stoicism under hardship. The inner strengths of patience, courage, and perseverance are also very real to us because we see them in action every day. What exactly is your inner self? Let's define it. What Dr. Gibson calls the inner self has many common names: soul, spirit, heart, the you of you. Different theorists have used different terms to allude to this inner vitality. Some call it the self, others the core state, and some the true self. Dr. Gibson likes the term inner self. The inner self is who you feel yourself to be at the deepest level. It's your unique individuality underneath your personality, family role, and social identity. How you benefit from inner self-guidance. Your inner self protects and enriches your life through the following sources of guidance. I'm going to give you the top 4 and then go into them a little deeper. 1. Emotions that alert you. 2. A sense of direct knowing. 3. Inspired thoughts. 4. Guidance for survival. 1. Emotions that alert you. The inner self uses your deepest feelings, not just superficial reactions, to nudge you towards what's good for you. It energizes you when you encounter things that bring out the best in you, but makes you dread things that bring you boredom, dissatisfaction, or depression. It even warns you with apprehension, fear, or panic in potentially exploitative or dangerous situations. 2. A sense of direct knowing. Your inner self zeroes in on the true nature of a situation or the intent of another person. There are some things you just know through your gut feelings. This intuitive knowing is what you mean when you say, I see, I get it, or otherwise grasp something all at once. EIPs may try to talk you out of this inner awareness, but the inner self knows what it knows. 3. Inspired thoughts. Inspired thoughts are different from the routine clutter of your daily thinking. Insights from the inner self deliver a deeper information than you would ever get from ordinary thought. When you are insightful, you reason clearly and see into the heart of a problem. Insights help you solve dilemmas, analyze cause and effect, and come up with creative ideas. Inspired insights often pop out of the blue while you're doing something else, such as walking, showering, or driving. 4. Guidance for survival. Physical survival may be the ultimate benefit of having a good relationship with your inner world. Exceptional survivors have had strong inner selves that they trusted and called upon under extreme duress. The rich inner worlds of successful survivors helped them survive, using the gifts of humor, altruism, imagination, meaning, and optimism. So where I'm reading, I'm not reading out loud all of the citations she has, but there's a few. So the first sentence has 3 different citations, and the second one has 3 more. So she's not just stating this; she's referring back to other works, which you can see here in the references at the end of the book. As Lawrence Gonzalez put it, to survive, you must find yourself. Then it won't matter where you are. So all of this stuff is very interesting, and I'm glad that you're here listening to it. The next section is an exercise. So if you can, please grab your journal, go ahead and pause this video if you need to go find it or go buy one. I'm sure you can get it for a couple dollars at the convenience store, or just a piece of paper is fine. You can even do it on your phone if you're watching this on a computer, or vice versa. But we're going to do this exercise. Remembering experiences of inner self guidance. In your journal, write about a time when you listened to your inner self's guidance using one or more of the prompts below. If you can't think of anything immediately, give it some time. Most of us have had these experiences at some point. 1. A time when you paid attention to your feelings and you were right even though others didn't see it. 2. A time when you instantly knew the right thing to do in a situation, even though you couldn't explain how you knew. 3. A time when an insight or solution suddenly came to you after a period of not being able to figure it out. And 4. A time when intuition protected your safety or even survivals. Your examples may be everyday or dramatic, but they're all evidence of this purposeful, intelligent guidance inside of you. So I can't remember where I read it. I know I read it, I just can't remember where. I think it was a neurologist book about people that he had studied or something like that. It was maybe something I read in college, but it was a story about this woman who had no memory. And the doctors, this may be a little cruel, but the doctors tested to see where memory comes from. Every time that he saw her, he would introduce himself. And I don't remember what his name is. John Smith, right? Let's just pretend. Hi, Mary, I am Dr. John Smith. And he would shake her hand. And he put a shock buzzer in his hand. Not like painfully shocking, but just uncomfortable. So he did that and he shook her hand. And she had no memory. So every time that he met her, he had to introduce himself again. And he goes to introduce himself after he had done that, and she wouldn't shake his hand. And she couldn't tell him why, but she just knew that she didn't want to shake his hand. And I'm not an expert in how the brain is wired, but that would be an example of your intuition. Even though her working memory couldn't remember that she had been shocked, something inside of her did remember that and told her, don't trust this person. And I do know that what you experience on a conscious level and what you experience on a subconscious level are very different. And your inputs, you can take in so much more subconsciously than you can consciously. And so the way someone looks, their posture, the way they hold themselves, the way they smell, the way they sound, you can pick up on a lot of things that maybe you can't consciously interpret as, this is a bad person or I shouldn't trust them. But something inside of you may make some connections of maybe somebody else that you have met who wasn't trustworthy. And at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that your first impression is always right. But when you've been surrounded with EIPs who have been gaslighting you and trying to tell you that things that you can see with your own eyes and ears are not true, it's important for you to come back to your core self, your inner self, and trust it, to trust your gut. And that's what Dr. Gibson is trying to teach us and tell us, is especially if you've been disconnected from that, it's important to learn what it is, to find it, and to start relying on it more, and to get away from believing people who were trying to tell you that what you are seeing with your own senses is not true. So there's a lot to this. Sometimes I feel like, Dr. Gibson lives this stuff day in, day out, so she can very easily write it on paper, be done with it. She sees people all the time. She's a practicing therapist in Virginia Beach. But for some of us who are newer to it, it's like you can get lost in this stuff. So was the EAP right? Am I right? The future does not equal the present, does not equal the past. So just because somebody looked or walked or sounded a certain way before and they were a bad person, if I meet somebody today and they have those traits, does that make them a bad person? And if my gut tells me that they're bad, does that mean that they're automatically bad? No, maybe not. Maybe not. And so it's not like blindly trust your gut and stop relying on evidence, other evidence or knowledge. It's more, if you've been separated from your inner self, it's very important that you take the time to find it. And she will go in future chapters, she will go, or future sections of even this chapter, I think, she will talk about meditation and mindfulness as a way to find your inner self, your true self. And you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on going on retreats to go meditate and practice mindfulness and maybe never find it. It's a practice. So don't feel frustrated if you're hearing about this stuff or reading this stuff and you don't immediately have the answer. Just like I said when we were talking about how to deal with EIPs and how it's very easy when you're in this classroom setting, you're in a relaxed place, you're watching your YouTube, you can practice in your mind all of the things that you would say to those EIPs. And so here, your intuition is always right and you can always see it. Well, not necessarily. I mean, sometimes you're crossing the street and you almost hit a car. You can't always see things. And don't be hard on yourself if you don't immediately connect with your inner self and your true self and you put your role self away, and all of that's false. So just be patient. Always remember, you didn't get here overnight. And just the fact that you're watching this video means that you recognize that you're surrounded by EIPs. You recognize that you yourself might have some EIP traits and you want to make sure that you don't keep passing that down the line. And you recognize that there's a lot of work to be done. So just be patient. Think about how long it took you to get here and recognize that you're not going to get out of it overnight. And if you'd like to talk one-on-one, you can message me. You can fill out a contact form, submit an email, text me, or chat through the website. That's me that responds. Also, if you like and subscribe to this channel, I love commenting with you guys on YouTube, and we can just interact that way as well. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I know I said I would post Friday. I didn't get to. I'll do my best to get back on track here, guys. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk on Monday. Bye-bye.